welcome to another episode of Life with the Glitter Practitioner. That is me, Dr. Nupi. Um, Thank you for joining me today. Do let me know in comments where you're tuning in from, because I'm a chatterbox and I love chit-chatting away after the show, even on hashtag replay, and just saying hi and acknowledging everybody who has joined us. So, for those of you who don't know me, please do actually bear with me. I'm really croaky and a bit sinusy, so I think I'm just gonna, I'll be fine. For those of you who don't know me, I am a GP, a doctor, a family physician in the UK, and I am also a transformation and spiritual life coach. And what really lights me up is empowering others, be it my patients, be it my clients, to really understand fully their health needs. And what I mean by that, it's not just the physical, it's this balance of mind, body, and soul. So it's the physical health needs, emotional, psychological, spiritual. All of these are what make your whole self. And that's exactly what I show and share via my F list, which is a holistic framework essentially. And I love what I do. And I've got my own language going on, the Glitter Practitioner language, hashtag Fizz Essence, hashtag Fizz Tingles. And I guess what I absolutely love is when somebody else truly understands what their needs are, how to keep them aligned, how to keep them maintained and topped up. And that is when everything starts to flow, and literally you're just a volcano of glitter basically. And that's what I love doing the most. And I think the best way to show and for somebody to feel what it might be like to work with me, even if it's just for a chat or a couple of sessions, my brand story really does capture the essence of, I guess, me supporting somebody working through the F list, as well as what you might feel going through it as well. And it is beautifully captured by my very, very good friend, Devin James Stinson, who is a creative genius. And I think we'll just play it now. So, Mr. Producer, please do. Let's have the brand story.
Follow the light through the storm. And this is not a light that warns, it's a light that forms on the pathway ahead. So you can maneuver around disaster instead of getting stopped by the obstacles. It just takes changing the obstacles. And then the impossible turns to possible. And then the storm lifts. You're no longer adrift. Breathe, focus, you've got this. Ahead you see a figure, a kind soul, and on the inside it feels like you might glow. Your endless cycles of cyclones have been turned to a breeze that just slightly blows. You're adorned with glitter, where you literally feel like a kid again. And this is when you realize how much of your life you've missed. And then you talk more with Dr. Nupi Aurora, who will holistically change your aura, where you and the new you won't be like strangers. No, you'll be like friends. Because this whole process is simply life-changing. So if you're feeling frazzled and you want to find your fizz and dazzle, then book a call with Dr. Nupi Aurora by messaging her right here on LinkedIn.
Don't know what happened there, but anyway, we got there to the end, and my interpretive dance movements that always accompany the actual video. Yes, I think you all knew which part I was in. Oh, I love that. It always makes me just very nice and chilled and dreamy, and I love it. Right, let's get this show going. So my guest today is one of my soul sisters, soul connections, and I absolutely adore her. And I've already just glitter bombed her in the green room, pretending to squish her dimples because I just So without further ado, let's bring on Nancy Deborah Barrows.
Hello. Yes, we were joking. It's a mutual admiration club. Like, oh, I love this about you. Oh, I love that about you. Oh, I love this about you. And we were like, okay, at least we did it before the show started. Everybody doesn't have to sit through.
Hi, I know exactly. I'm quite happy to just go over it again. But anyway, hello, and welcome to another, it's part 2 of Live with the Glitter Practitioner with you.
Yes, I'm lucky enough to be lucky enough to be back with you and your audience, and I see so many familiar names in the comments. And I've been trying to get back to you, but I'm going to try and focus on what we're doing here and not get distracted. But you know how easy that is.
So gosh, I mean, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. In fact, I tell you what we'll do, and I picked this up from Inga. Actually, I was on her show on Friday, and I loved the way she just took a little pause and a breath and just went through some of the comments to acknowledge who's turned up. So I can already see, because there's so many people here. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Annie.
Oh, wow. Here.
Lachelle, Adkins, America's Super's Mom. Thank you for coming. That's
nice
amazing.
to meet you, Tabitha.
Yes. We can do, let's go one each, actually, so I'm not just talking over you.
Oh, that's okay.
So you went one, so it's my turn now. Not that I...
I'm game. Let's go. We got this. You're not allowed to laugh. You said it's going to change. You need to change. Something happens. You want me to do this one? This is like sign language. We're playing, what is it? Oh, I have to do it. Bruce. Welcome in, Bruce. And love to you, my soul brother. I'm going to tell you all, of course, if you haven't been already connected with one another, please get connected. This is an amazing community. And I know as soon as Nupi can breathe, she will reiterate that is important as well. We have Bob Feathers here, I see.
Bob Feathers, I love Bob to bits. And Annie Lee, sorry, yeah, I've got to be careful because I actually can't breathe sometimes. Susanna, yes.
Hi, Susanna.
Oh, we've got some amazing Jen Russman's here. Hi, Jen, love you.
I saw Jen came in. Yes, hi,
Mariella,
Jen, another soul sister.
And who else is here? Where's Bobby Lee?
Bobby Lee knows me. That's big.
Let's see who else is here. Bobby Lee's there. Sorry, Bobby. Hi. Okay. Jen. Okay, so I think, right, we will blow the roof off. So, hi, Nancy.
Hi. Well, I know how you are, but how are you?
I'm okay. You know what? It's actually, I'm a really rubbish patient, to be honest. I'm very moody. I'm just a crap patient, basically. And I know it was kind of self-induced because I was up having a few late nights, butterflying around Pacific Standard Time and Eastern Standard Time, and just kind of pushed the boat out a little bit. And then my daughter was poorly, and that's where I got this from. But a secret, it's not really a secret because I'm sharing this on live.
It's a secret with us and nearly 1 billion business professionals, but we got this.
I always forget about that bit because I just think it's you and I every single week. But I quite like it when my voice goes a bit croakier and deeper. It's just, I did try and sing a very low song earlier. I just thought,
take advantage of it. You can sound very husky and seductive.
Hardly when I've got signs. Anyway. So Nancy, I don't. Do we need to introduce you? Yes, okay. Let's tell everybody. You tell everybody just a titchy bit about yourself. And for those of you who don't know you, which is unlikely really, but go for it.
Well, I see a lot of new names. So, hi, I'm Nancy Deborah Barrows, and I am the chick with the tool belt. Among a lot of other things, I'm human, and I think it's very important that we share that we're human because we're all out there living life, and we know what it can be like. I am the co-host of 2 global award-winning live shows with Brian Schulman, Shout Out Saturday, What's Good Wednesday. As of March 24th, I will be an author. I am part of a collaborative series that is coming out. It's 4 books. The first one's released in March. I am the co-founder of Peekaboo Analytics. I am a sister, I'm a friend, and I'm like, I'm ugly, snotty, and unsexy at times. That's, and I'm out here trying to make people feel seen, heard, loved, and valued, to find what's truly within them and have that grow so that they're not out there, doing the same things over and over, or doing different things and feeling like they're getting the same results and ending up feeling stuck and resenting themselves and angry at themselves and unable to get out of that cycle into what is really their purpose and their reason for being here. I would sort of think about it as we've got to clear out your mental storage space and find out what's in there, what's in that box, right? When you clean out something you haven't looked at in a while and you finally come to the box and you open it up, you're like, what, how did this get, and why have I saved it this long? That's, sort of part of how we clean this out is being really curious and having curiosity about, where did these ideas come from? Where did these beliefs come from?
Absolutely.
And being curious about it so that we can make enduring changes and really get out into the world, radiating real, being who we are, and moving into acceptance, right? That this is who I am, and you get the opportunity when you show up with your mask off, radiating real, to receive unconditional love and unconditional acceptance and be free from all of that.
That sounded like a really deep. And I was like, yes. But
yes.
The what I wanted to say was the thing that I remember when we first met and our connection is you have, and I think that's why we do actually vibe so much. You have the biggest heart, and that's the first thing I felt. And that is just what you radiate out. Oh my goodness me, I sound like I'm like really plugging the show. You really do radiate your realness out there. And that is such an endearing, vulnerable quality about you that I'm literally fist tingling right now. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. And hi Raquel, hi Bruce. Thank you for joining us. I missed them earlier. But
I'm looking along the side, sorry, I'm not.
I know, and I just saw a couple of things. Right, I'm not going to actually do any more. We can do that later. But yes, it's that, and I think that's what we're both very similar with in terms of I work from my heart, big time, always have, and it's whole person, heart-centered care, and I tune into somebody's needs from here. And eyes forward, Loopy. Indeed.
I know.
Yes,
me too, Russ. Look here. We're professionals. We are professional humans. We're professional humans.
Excuse me.
Really,
we are professional humans.
I'm sorry.
And straight back to studio.
Breaking
studio
news.
One.
Breaking
news.
This just in. Hang on. I'm getting word that.
Stop it.
Sorry.
Okay, let's get back on track. So, yes, whole person, heart-centered care, and it is about authenticity. I hate that word, but I don't really. It's being true to yourself, true to you, true to who you truly are. And actually, sometimes you have to find that. And oh gosh, I use my hands so much. It's finding who you are and finding truly what lights you up, your passions, your purpose, what gives you meaning. And once you become in alignment with that, you literally are radiating, and that's the phys essence that I talk about. But I love we had a quick chat. I mean, I never really script what we're gonna talk about with guests, but I loved the topic that you came up with actually today, which was about you say, actually, I shall give the floor to you.
Why, thank you. It's
No
the
problem.
comparison game, right? It's the comparison game, and we fall prey to it. It's that, acceptance versus trying to get approval. And we get in this cycle of approval. And when we've been trying things and different things, and we're finding that we have the same results, and we're starting to feel defeated and discontent, we then sort of step into this acceptance. We stop trusting ourselves, like our true selves, who we are before all of this stuff was heaped on us. And we look right, and we look outside of ourselves. So we start looking, first of all, it gives control to others, right? We're comparing ourselves to others of what the standard should be for me, what's going to make me happy.
Yeah.
And it hands control over to someone else,
Yeah.
which is a very dangerous thing for a number of reasons. And then it also, you start to lose your own thought, right? You fall into matching someone else and trying to find their formula instead of your own. I equate it to sort of trying on somebody else's glasses and expecting
Yes.
them to work for your own vision.
Yes.
And I think what most people don't understand is they discredit the fact that the person they quote unquote want to be and need to be is they already are. It's in there. It just is, unfortunately, as we go through life, we're given ideas, other people's ideas, and then we have thoughts about those ideas and the emotions that go with them, and they become very strong anchors for us. And it's not something you can just look in the mirror and do yourself. So people all the time, they start to get angry, resent themselves. Why can't I do this? And I should, because our brains are brilliant. Our brains do things for us so we don't have to think about them. But often they're coming from a place of, like I said, you've got to replace your executive board because the people making the decisions are not the right people. Thank them. They were useful at one point. Throw them the retirement party. But then who do you want to elect to your board? Your mental board. Hey, we all have a board of directors.
You, yourself, and I. And that's the thing. It's about, I love what you've said completely. And it's so important to remember that we always have that power. We always have that power within us to maintain our true self and also govern our thoughts, the thinking, the thoughts, the beliefs. And this can shape you from a young age. And I'm not saying every childhood or every person has gone through trauma. Trauma has got such a broad connotation that it's how you as a child respond to what's going on at that time. It's how you therefore view the world. It's how your perspective on yourself and the big wide world around you. And you kind of develop.
It's also based on how people react to right? Not only how we react, right, to you and to the things.
And then you modify, and it's kind of like, say, if you've got somebody quite critical around you, then this is exactly what kind of, I know it was for me, is you become people pleasing and feeling that this underlying need of not good enough, and then you kind of top that up with, okay, so if I do this and put myself under ridiculous amounts of pressure and standards that are ridiculously high, then this is okay. I am worthy. I am loved. And it's so conditional. And that's what you have to sometimes shed as an adult when you recognize, okay, I'm feeling a certain way. It's not serving me. I feel like crap. I'm feeling exhausted all the time, this, that, and the other. And it's going back to your true inner self. And which takes time. It does take time, but it's possible. Completely.
You do it one step at a time. The reality is it's one step at a time. You can't, if you want enduring change, it's one step at a time, because there's a lot to examine. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to be curious about. One of the things I love about being the chick with the tool belt and working with clients is being in those moments every step of the way where all of a sudden it's like, I discovered another piece of myself that I'm taking back. Okay, this piece of myself, right? That's going to be a board member. That's the voice. The other voice is gone. Like, that's not the voice that I'm listening to anymore. And to be in a place where you just layer by layer free yourself step by step. And again, as an empowerment coach, you see people coming in as their worst, right? They don't like themselves. They're having difficulty in work and relationships, personal, home, all over the place, because it's pervasive, right?
It's all linked. Absolutely.
Right. It's all linked. And these ideas, that insidious ideas that get in there, right, are they impact everything we do, because while you may be trying to do different things, the same idea is driving the bus every time, right? So whatever it is that thought you have about like, I'm stagnant. Well, where did that come from? I'm stuck. Where did that come from? And where did that emotion come from? What does it mean to be stuck? What does it mean to move forward? What does it mean?
Flip
Whatever
it.
you're thinking, right? To not be enough. And again, we tend to feel powerless and then turn that in on ourselves with anger and resentment, feeling like we can't. And
you lower your
two ways,
vibration.
totally, you lower your vibration and we attract what we're vibrating out there. And two of the fastest ways, again, to give up your power and end up in this position is, of course, looking outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And the other is what we were just talking about, right? You just keep telling yourself that, I've done everything I can. I don't know why it's coming out differently. I'm so pathetic. I'm so bad at this. I'm never going to get this right. It's never going to happen. Look at everyone else, right? You've put this locus of control outside of yourself. And it's so
absolutely.
important, right, to
Yeah.
come from a place where you can go back to feeling confident about your decisions, make easy decisions, right? When you start having trouble about knowing what to do, it's because you've lost your own thought, and or you're mentally competing with that idea that's been holding you back. And as you said, it is exhausting. And I've been there. The reason I ended up being the chick with the tool belt is because I had to take all these steps. I had to do this myself to understand the process. And like you said, these ideas aren't from trauma necessarily. It's like the experience in the world or how someone reacts to you or a look and how we interpret it. Usually what happens is immediately an emotion gets attached to it. And once an emotion gets attached to it, it is tethered. Right? Things that are tied to emotion are strong for us.
Yeah.
So without going back again and looking in that old box that you've kept under the bed to see what's in there and how can you shed it, be curious about it, right?
Exactly.
Be curious, not come from judgment with yourself, but try and understand it. You really just want to understand it so that you can move it along, thank it for its work and how it's gotten you to the point you are. And then when a company is failing, you get rid of management and you start over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. It starts with, it's what you said about being curious. And I would add in, this is actually my Soul Sparkle tonic that goes with the F list of how to realign your needs and how to recognize them. It's to come back and link it up to what we wanted to show and talk about, which is, comparing yourself to other people. You are literally giving away your power, your energy, because you are unique as you are. Nobody else can be you. And also what you see is almost like an optical illusion. You don't know what's going on behind somebody else's mask or what they've gone through or what they're going through to present to the world, hey, I'm great. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. It's our interpretation. But looking at yourself, in like what you were saying, instead of being judgy and critical, it's turning it back in to self. And this is my gangster soul tonic, which is courage, curiosity, care, and compassion. And the dosage of this wonderful tonic is 1 tablespoon twice a day for adults. And actually, it's how you view yourself, because self-care is self-love, and self-love is the equivalent vibrational energy to unconditional love, which you can give out in spades. But the one person it needs to start with is self. And it's having the courage to go, I'm going to just figure it out and just work my way through these emotions. And it boils down to awareness, understanding that, okay, this emotion, does it serve me? What is it telling me? What are these thoughts? What are these beliefs? And I guess the beauty about all of this is you can change it because they don't govern you. And you can then F it off, first F, focus and breathe, bring it down to here, keep your, instead of becoming reactive, go into respond mode, and then challenge. Where's the evidence this is real? What story am I telling myself here? And it's challenging these fear-based beliefs. And is it real or is it just false? And then effing it off, basically.
Right. Is it true and helpful? That's what I ask clients
Yeah.
a lot. Is it true and is it helpful? And, honestly, for me, I just recently discovered that, or fully embraced, like, being me is a skill. It's a superpower, right?
Yes.
That whole idea of being unique, like being me, like you said in the beginning, which is amazing to hear when anyone reflects back to me how I'm helping others or touching others, or that I just have this thing about me, right? And I get it. For years, I was told all sorts of things like that, like, oh, I just feel so comfortable talking to you, and I always feel
Yes.
better after, right? And I didn't think anything of it. And I recently was like, you know what? Being me is a superpower. It's a skill. And that's something I have that no one else has. It's something I can offer. And when we can get down,
Own it.
yes, with
Sorry.
that
I just
awareness,
had to say that. I'm
thank
getting
you.
very
Own
fired
it.
up
Yeah.
now.
Own who you, yeah, there we go. You know, you got to look at what's your purpose. And to find that, you have to look at your acquired beliefs, right? They're acquired, your acquired beliefs. And then you have to get in there and declutter.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time that self-acceptance, that self-love, when you start with self-care and self-love, it's the moment you're saying to the universe, I deserve this, right?
Yes.
If you're unwilling to do it, typically it's like there's some part of you doesn't feel like you deserve it, but you do.
Yes.
And when you switch
Yes.
that to I deserve this,
Yeah.
amazing things happen.
Too
Amazing
friggin'
things
right.
happen, right? I mean, things just shift in a way that it's, the mindset and your lens changes. So you're automatically going to see things differently. You're seeing them through a
Yes.
different lens. You're processing them through a different mindset, a different brain. You've created a whole different structure than what you were bringing forward with you from before that was, at this point for a lot of us, maladaptive. It was used in a way that
It
we
served
needed
you
it.
for so long. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Served us for so
Yeah.
long, and we go back to our bag of tricks, and our brain and our executive board is like, don't worry, we've got this. You don't have to think about this. It's just automatic. We got this. We know what we're doing here. And so for us to be able to start loving
Trust.
ourselves and
Yeah.
real trust and be, like you said, aware, and really want to curiously examine those things. But what I tell clients all the time is it's ugly, it's snotty,
Yes.
and it's unsexy.
Yes.
These are not necessarily easy things to do,
No,
but
it's
they
the
are
hardest thing.
doable. Right. They
Yes.
are doable. And, one of the reasons, coaches use coaches is for the exact same reason as having someone journey with you. I don't like to use coach, actually. I like to think of Sherpa, because I'm journeying with you. This is yours. I'm with you. We're going to discover it together. This is not me doing anything or telling you anything. This is all the first place you take power back, right? Is by saying, I want to work with someone who can help me with that. That's a huge step in taking your power back. It's a huge step in self-love. And I invite anyone, of course, if you want to talk more about this, if you're ready to take that step, reach out, right? You can reach out to Nupi or myself. We're very similar practitioners. And the beautiful part is there's abundance. I can sit here and say, reach out to either of us, because there's abundance, and there are plenty of people who will reach out. And because we are all each our unique, beautiful self, we resonate differently with different people at different times, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to show up and be like, oh, this is the vibe I want, or, oh, this is the conversation, and it went so well. I feel at home here. I can do this with her. And to encourage you guys all to trust yourselves in that. Credentials are great, and I'm not going to say it's not worth it. Experience and who the person is, how you feel with them, because you're going to get into this work and you're going to get vulnerable. And it's sort of like people go to a therapist and they'll lie to their therapist. That's not helpful. And all it says is you're not comfortable in that therapeutic relationship. So it's another way that you end up punishing yourself, right? I reached out for help, but it's not working.
It didn't work.
Something different. Right. Nothing's happening. Why is
I
nothing
hear
happening?
that so many times, and I will very gently go, okay, so what was it about that didn't work? Oh, well, they didn't even listen to me, and da 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 da. Well, that's kind of the point. It's for you to share, but it's unpicking what somebody might mean by that. And you're so correct in the sense of it's where you feel safe, and you are basically entrusting somebody with your heart, and and it's tuning into your needs. So that's what I mean by fizz tingles, is knowing that, that's my surefire sign that this was meant to be. And sometimes you might not know that yet, but tune into what your body's telling you. So is it clenching? Is it going all like butterflies, but like butterflies that are badass ones that are really, crashing around? Or are they nice and gentle, fluttery ones that make you feel good? I don't know where that analogy just came from, but it just did. But that's the important bit. Pay attention. And I always say this to my clients and patients, that really be aware, wake up, look around and look in. And once you start doing that, baby steps, you can do this. And like what you said, Nancy, you don't need to do this on your own. Reach out to you, to myself.
You don't have to suffer on your own. You don't get any more credit for it. I often tell clients, like, if you're pregnant and you deliver a baby, it doesn't matter if you had an epidural or you did it naturally. Either way, at the end, you're a mother.
Yeah,
right. Either way, at the end, you're a mother. So
Yeah.
it's okay to ask for help. And I ask my clients again, like, let's together focus, like, attention on intention. Like,
Yes.
what's our intention here? And I love, because it is like, you put our attention on our intention.
What I'm saying. Yes.
It's so important, right? To know. And it's okay if it changes over time. That's the other thing. You don't have to decide, I'm the chick with the tool belt and that's all I'm ever going to be. And it has to be that. And I have to stay with this program the way it is. And I can't, that's unrealistic. We're constantly evolving.
Just
right.
evolve.
Ebb and flow.
Oh my God, we are so, I'm literally reading your mind right now.
I hope somebody got a screenshot because I'm sure that was a beautiful face. But that's, I also work with my clients of like, where do you put this stuff while you're working on it? Because stuff comes up and it's hard. Stuff comes up and it's difficult and it's challenging, ugly, snotty, unsexy. So what do you do with it while you're in the process? And I like to offer them this solution, is that you imagine in your mind taking whatever that is and gathering it all together into a tight little ball and putting it in a mason jar and sealing it. Mason jars are great, right? They preserve things. You label it, you put it on a shelf. So if for any reason you need to step back into that, if you find a situation, same with those old board members, where you need to pull out, my brain, there were all sorts of them. It was the Vildachaya, that was the gatekeeper. Okay, I need the gatekeeper. My boundaries here are feeling a little bit weak. So I'm going to take he's all well preserved. I can open him up, let him out, and I know how to put him back and put him back on the shelf, right? We're going to be going through this, but you're going to have opportunities to, like, people often think, just like therapy, like, I can't afford to be present. I can't afford to fall apart. You can't afford not to, is the reality, because it's not sustainable. No. And over time, we all feel it. We feel our light going out. We're not ourselves. We're not our best version. And you start thinking like, who I used to be and what happened to that person. And so important things, again, know it's not easy. Know that you can have a place for these things as they come up. You're not going to lose all control. When you're taking back control, the last thing that happens is that you lose control. You actually get better at managing all of these things. And again, if our attention is on our intention, it takes the pressure off of, I have to change.
Yes.
Like, I've got to fix something about me.
There's no shoulds in the vocabulary.
Right.
That's
there's
important
nothing
bit.
broken to fix. Yes. There's nothing broken to fix.
Exactly. And that's what I also put on my F list. It's the last one. It's fabulous. You are fabulous as you are here and now, in the height of your vulnerability, which you come to recognize as your strength. Actually, it's what your shadow self is showing you, what needs to be looked at. And it's okay. These are thoughts. They are feelings. They don't need to define you. It's about fucking them off, focusing and breathing, looking at that evidence, which is the tool, how to start navigating through these feelings and bringing that here. So it doesn't govern every single day, and it will also pass. And it's remembering these things, because you're speaking from your experience, and ditto. Burnout was exactly that. That's exactly where my F list came from. It's everything I learned and further discovered and studied and then brought back into clinical practice. And I think these are key principles that I think get really missed. And, this is not taught in medical school at all. And it's through my own journey that I've learned this, and therefore sharing it with as many people as I possibly can. But it's so important to know your worth and value your needs because you matter. And I think that would be what I was constantly the same message again and again until I'm blue in the face. But I think, it's about advocating for other people who perhaps can't at the minute.
Right.
Yeah.
And bringing them to a place of being able to, because it
Yeah.
just multiplies itself. When somebody's had the
Yes.
experience and they have stepped back into themselves truly, for me, it felt so good and changed so many things that I didn't even know needed changing. Like it was like this weight taken off of me that I hadn't known I was carrying that whole time. And I tell clients, like, you can either imagine standing at the edge of the ocean, or if you can get there, stand at the edge of the ocean, because those biggest fears, those are the huge waves. They get big, and by the time they hit the shore and tickle your toes, they're bubbles, and then they go back into the ocean. Right? It's not something you have to carry with you all the time. And if we can start thinking of our emotions as things that show up, that we can, again, we can be curious about, we can set our intention on noticing them so we're not reacting the same ways, and we let them crash, dissipate, and they'll go back to where they belong.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly powerful thing, and it gives us, again, another place of control. And I think that many of us are so busy rushing around, myself included. You said this comes from your experience. I've had to step back into my toolbox on multiple occasions. It's not something, and I tell clients all the time, mental wellness, owning your worth is not something that is a plaque that you put on the wall. It's not that there's going to be days that it doesn't ever get challenged and you have that moment of doubt or a day of doubt or something comes up, that you dig back into your toolbox. Because the beautiful thing of the chick with the tool belt, and you as well, is my goal is to have you not need me. I'm going to give you the tools. We're going to make your toolbox. You're going to have your own toolbox at the end of this. And so you don't need me for life. This isn't a life sentence, so to speak. This is actually the most freeing thing you can do, because everything that happens in our sessions, every change, every aha moment, every tear you shed, whatever it is yours. You own it. It's absolutely yours, and you are going to take it with you.
Yes. And everybody's journey is different. And that's the beauty of this, is that, like it's come round full circle. One story, one backstory is not somebody else's. And what you see is not, there's a comparison and all of that. Go on, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, if what you see is what you get. For so many times in my life, people would have looked at me and said, okay, I want to be her. I'm going to work so hard to be her. And what they didn't know, what they didn't know was everything I was going through. I had been sexually abused by my grandfather until I was 16 years old. You do not want to trade for that. I was anorexic for years because I hated the body that betrayed me. You don't want to trade for that. I had my first major depressive episode at 20 years old, and I still struggle with my mood. You don't want to trade for that. And that's one of the reasons why I share the ugly, snotty, unsexy, because if I would see me today when I was 20, the girl who thought she was broken beyond repair, I would have effed her off in a different way, because she didn't get it. Look at you. Look at all you've achieved. You're one of the top 50 most impactful people. You're about to be a published author. You're on live shows. You co-founded a data analytics company. I can give you the whole resume. But if I don't show you what's behind the curtain, the things that happen every day, and if you go through my LinkedIn stuff, you'll find it. It's there, because that's one of the most important pieces. And when we start radiating real and we take off that mask, we have the opportunity to have our experiences help others. I always say, when we share our story, any piece of it, you allow someone to exhale. Someone who's been holding their breath thinking they're the only one, they're not going to get through it. So if you know that there are times that I don't get out of my pajamas and I don't shower for a few days, or, with my anorexia, if I've made it to noon and I haven't figured out that I was hungry, I might think, I can go an hour longer. Maybe I can, right? Those are opportunities, for me to employ my tools. But it
Yes.
also lets you know, A, that I'm human, and B,
Yes.
this is part of the process. And
Yes.
it's so very normal and expected, so that when you find yourself in those moments, we don't have to go to fear and panic. You think about your biggest fears and your biggest, anxieties. When you start feeling you're living your nightmare, right, that's a terrifying, paralyzing place to be. But if you know it's part of the process, because it's going to give you opportunities to use those new tools to prove to yourself again and again, whenever it comes up, that I can do this. And because it's part of the process of living life and being human, you need the tools because it's going to happen. But how we get through those things is why we need to chuck that executive board, clean out our mental trash.
Yeah.
It's not even recycling. Let's
No.
just clear it out.
Fuck it off. Yeah.
Right. So that when those moments come up, our
Have
attention
something
and our
else. Yeah.
intention, right, are aligned.
Yeah.
And the only option is to pick a new tool, because that's all you have left. That's the only
Yeah.
thing left, is the new tool, the new way, the way that
Yeah.
allows you to be 100% you, 100% of the time. And what that gives you in return is unconditional love and acceptance.
Yes.
That's the you we're all meant to be living in.
Mm. Yep. Mic drop, lady friend. Absolutely. And I was thinking there was something I was going to say, and my brain's literally just gone boing. And we do need to wrap it. No, but hold on a minute. It'll come to me. Yes. It's the whole, people can, and I'm really conscious of this, because it might look, yes, I've got the F list, and yes, I've, this happened, burnout happened when it did, and this is something I've developed all through these years. This does not mean I'm infallible to all the other stuff that everybody else is. And I'm not, everybody is human, and we all have our own backstory. That's what makes us unique, and nobody else can fill those shoes. So, there's only one glitter practitioner who gets to his pop giddy pants and then fucking blasts everybody with glitter bombs and doing what I know works and have shared. But it doesn't mean it's any less easier, is what I'm trying to say, because I think
You
people
can't
can sort
avoid
of
those
no.
moments. There's
Yeah,
no
and
avoiding them.
exactly. And I'm the first person to say this, because I'm not going to. I've gone through what I've gone through. I've walked the walk. I've come through it. A fucking burnout warrior. And then that's exactly. I'm now sharing that, and it boils down to whatever challenges people are going through. It's what you learn from it. It's what you take from it. I guess it's keeping those challenges as opportunities to grow and heal. And from that, you start evolving and you pass it on. So it's this beautiful cycle of energy. And, life's not static. It's full of twists and turns, ups and downs and everything, dead ends, all sorts of stuff. But it's how you navigate it. And I think it boils down to self-love, self-care, self-love, and valuing. And giving permission to yourself to do that is what I would say. And I know that's what you speak about loads as well. And I just love that. It's like, we should do more of this together, Nancy.
I know.
Seriously.
We said this last time. We had the
Yeah, I
exact
know.
same
We say
experience.
this.
We're like, we need to be doing And I want to say it's because of the twists and turns, right, that I'm here.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the twists and turns, I wouldn't end up here. I wouldn't be good at
Yeah.
what I do the way I am. I wouldn't have that impact on people that I do. And until I stopped outrunning that past that I just shared and finally said, you know what, I'm inviting you to journey with me.
Yeah.
Because there were so many good lessons learned that I can bring forward. That's we are the sum of all of our experiences.
Oh, yes.
And you may not see yourself as someone that you love or like right now. Because I know during the pandemic, I got to spend a lot of time. I live alone with 2 cats, one of which is in my lap, and I'm sure you've all seen. But I live alone with 2 cats, and during the pandemic, I spent a lot of time with me, a lot of quiet time with me,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
spent a lot of time with my story. And okay, what about it? What things do I bring forward today? And to discover the fact that I used to think that I was always going to identify as someone who had experienced childhood sexual abuse
Yeah.
and had an eating disorder, and those things would always be first and foremost in my mind. And to discover that before I started talking about it on LinkedIn, I went long stretches without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
What a freeing moment to find. But in spending that time with myself and really discovering who I am for the first time in my life, I was able to say that I had met the real Nancy Deborah Barrows, and I liked her.
Oh.
So while you may not be in a place of self-love right now,
Yeah.
while you may not feel that you love or like the person you are right now, know that there's someone deep in there
Yes.
whose truth is valuable,
Yes.
whose power is unlimited,
Yes.
and whose story is impactful, and who has everything they need already within them
Yep.
to achieve everything they desire.
Absolutely.
And that's the bottom line. It's okay not to feel your best self right now.
Yep.
We all go
Yep.
through it. But both Nupi and I have said to you, it's important to know that it can change.
Yeah.
It's to change it, and it can change.
And it's reaching out. It's absolutely no, but you don't have to go through this on your own. It is about reaching out to somebody you trust, who might be recommended, for example, and knowing that you are going to be held in a very safe space. Oh, I could go on forever. Seriously, I could talk about this for ages, and I'm already looking. I've already been like, come on. It's 45 minutes. Oh,
man.
Nancy,
Wow.
I know it feels like about 5-10 minutes, which is the beauty of this. I know. Thank you for sharing your story and just being you. And I just mirror and honor that. I really do. I have not stopped. Seriously, there's tingles the whole time. I know. It's incredible. Oh, I can see it in my eyes. It's like the best I've looked all day. It's like,
yes. And I sincerely appreciate the space that you create for us to have these conversations. Not everybody's comfortable engaging in these conversations. Again, that's why, keep looking until you find the person, and know you don't have to do it alone. You do it one step at a time. And if you want to talk about what the next step might be, please set up a free 15-minute consultation with me. I'm always looking, or Dr. Nupi, that side, I'm always looking to meet good people. I'm always looking to grow my network with people who support one another, are huge-hearted. So, hey, a phone call can mean a friendship. A phone call can mean, yes, we work together, on finding who it is you are and you've always been. But I also want to remind you that if it was as easy as looking in the mirror and doing the work on your own, we would all do that. It's just not. And don't beat yourself up for that. I have a coach. I'm a coach who needs a coach. I'm a coach who, ignites that part of my brain that, that decides, oh, I'm not showing up for work today. I'm taking vacation. No, you're not. You got a job to do. No one can fill your shoes.
Yeah.
That's you. And that's my mental system. I'm not saying that if you need to break a day off, take your mental health day, please. And as always, if your brain is lying to you and telling you that you don't matter, that no one cares, that no one will miss you, here in the United States, you can dial 988 and you will be anonymously connected with a qualified counselor. And I don't know what the system is there, but the idea is reach out to someone
Samaritans,
first.
absolutely.
Reach out to someone first.
Yeah.
Just make a call, send the text, because who you are, that unique person inside of you, holds immense value, not only to you, but to the people around you.
Oh, Nancy, you're going to make me cry now. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we have to have Brian was saying, when are you two going to start a show? When are you two going to start a show? I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like doing stuff with Aaron. Oh, there's so many exciting things happening. But yeah, no, we did say we were going to do something.
We did.
More
And we
to
will.
come. We will. Absolutely.
There's
Thank
still
you.
time. There's always time. Thank
Yes.
you. And thank you to everyone who showed up and for
Yes.
sharing
Thank you.
yourselves with us and with each other. And if we are not connected, please, please, please reach out and connect.
Yes. And thank you for being so patient, because I know I can't talk properly. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up, and Nancy, don't go anywhere. I'll come and join you in the green room. Oh dear. Thank you, everybody. I know today's episode went over, but so many juicy nuggets there. I hope that has given whoever's been listening some hope and trust. And the key message is really that you are unique, and that is the bestest, the most beautiful thing about you. And reach out for any support and help. You can connect with me if you're not connected already. You can send me a direct message or book a call with me. Let's just have a chat. My Calendly link will be appearing miraculously somewhere, and it's on my LinkedIn profile. You can also find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all under at the Glitter Practitioner. And I mainly basically live on LinkedIn. So thank you for joining me and sharing this time together. I just love having Nancy on, I really do. Got some more exciting guests coming up, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, lots of love. Bye.